Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Alex Mitchell. He's the vocalist of Circus of Power, and it's great to have him on the show here, and glad to have this band back together. And they got a new album that's actually being released today on December the 8th on Noize in the Attic Records called 4. And you definitely want to get out and pick this up. I listened to this band a very long time ago. They've been well mentioned from other musicians as well. So a lot of respect coming from other musicians for this band. So Al, how's it going?
It's going great, and it's exciting to, people are liking the record. And ever since the video came out, it started to get a buzz. I mean, we're just a small band, but it's a record that's also getting great reviews that are starting to come in. So I'm excited, man. I haven't had a Circus of Power record out for 26 years. It's not the same guys. It's just me and a bunch of other boneheads. Actually, good friends from a couple of guys from Brooklyn, a guy from California here, and Brant Dork plays drums. It was a cool thing to do. We had no rehearsal and no pre-production, not one rehearsal. I just gave Brant 15 licks, and ideas for songs. Some of them somewhat complete, some of them like just almost like an idea on the phone. And, hung out with him a couple times. We talked and met him at the studio, and he nailed it. He's just incredible. We made the whole record. I don't know if you've heard the whole thing. It sounds pretty good produced, too. And we made the whole record for $1,500. That's mixed, mastered, recorded, everything for $1,600, $1,500. So every session we had, and there was only 3 or 4 sessions, all were, had that good vibe, that magic thing. It was always there. We're coming up with stuff on the spot and everything. It was really great.
Now I'm just going to throw this in here before we get more into the interview. I remember watching an episode of That Metal Show, and they actually talked about Circus of Power, and I was like, well, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, Jim is a fan. I'm spacing out on all the guys' names.
Don and
Don is a I've corresponded with Don in emails and stuff, and he's kind of the biggest fan out of the 3 of those guys, I think. I missed that show. I got to tell you, it was they were funny, and it was kind of cheesy, but it was fun, And there's nothing really like that on TV anymore.
No, and plus I think that was an outlet for us metal fans to know about old bands and new bands coming in and stuff.
Yes.
I wish they would come back. That's how I feel.
Yeah, it seems like, it was an entertaining show, whether or not you even liked metal music. I thought it was entertaining, just, visually and, content-wise. It was kind of funny and everything. So, yeah, it'd be nice if they got it back.
So how's it feel to come back, bringing this band back after about 25, 26 years now? Do you feel more charged for Circus of Power, man?
Yeah, man, I tried for years and years and years and years to get the original guys to make a record or just play. We did a couple of reunions, but really only like 3 or 4. And eventually, I'll tell you that it's the truth. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was up in the middle of the night watching that movie Almost Famous.
Uh-huh.
And the scene where the bus is going down the road and Tangerine by Led Zeppelin is playing, that's where I turned the TV on, right during that scene. And it just came to me. I was like, that's it. I'm gonna put a Circus of Power band together, and I did. For years I didn't want to do it without the original guys, but I eventually just said fuck it,
Yeah, I mean, you can't wait on others, man. You got to go grab it.
No, and I tell you what, I'm glad I did. To have people respond and freak out on the record, and because you know how much music means to people's lives, man.
Sure.
And to have it happen is the reward is there already.
What has adding former Caius and Fu Manchu drummer and stoner rock legend Brant Dork to the group? What's he brought that was missing possibly?
Well, I'll tell you how that happened too. It was, first of all, he's very musical. Like he plays guitar too and other stuff, and bass and sings. So he gets it. Like he brought something to every song, almost every song. Not just the playing's really good, but he brought, he makes suggestions. You go, hey, Al, let me intro the drums in the beginning of Love Sick Blues. I go, yeah, sounds good, man. Or say, before you come in, let me do this little fill. And I go, yeah. And every time you suggested something, it worked. The guy has good ideas. the way it happened with Brant, I didn't know Brant, you know, and Nick Oliveri, that from Queens of the Stone Age, used to be in Queens of the Stone Age, Madman Nick Oliveri, he came to a show we did at the Whiskey. I know his ex-girlfriend, I know his girlfriend, I've been friends with her for like 30 years. And so I said to Nick, he called me up in a weird time in the band, you know, like about a year ago. He called me up and he goes, "You want to do a side project, do a CD, like an EP? You, me, Brant Dork, do a like real heavy thing." I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, of course, that would sound really good." So I went over and hung out with Brant and Nick and told them that I was almost ready to make the Circus of Power record and needed a drummer and could Nick play guitar, and they were like both really into it. And Nick ended up going on tour and stuff and was busy, and we got Brant.
What's impressed you, Al, or excited you the most about making the new album for? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man?
I'm playing with different guys, so it sounds similar but not the same. Mm-hmm. And when I started playing with these guys, these current guys, I told them, if you want to just go have out and play, you know, little clubs and sing Motor and all that every night, I go, you get the wrong guy. I want to be in a band that's relevant for right now and write new songs and make a new record. And some of the guys weren't so on board with that. And, you know, I just said, well, this is the way it is. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to just be in like a Circus of Power cover band, you know, which is what it would be. There's a lot of, like, listen to the record, there's spoken word kind of stuff on there. There's country kind of stuff on there. Mm-hmm. And it's a really unconventional record. I like records that aren't, I love Sticky Fingers by the Stones. You know, the way it's got blues and country and bitchin' and rock and beautiful Wild Horses love song. You know, it's just a great record. The Beatles' White Album, the record by The Damned called Machine Gun Etiquette. I don't know if you know about that one, but it's just this incredible record. And it's also got all these different styles of music. And so I wanted to make a record of songs, you know, and not just come out slam, do a fucking 12 heavy songs and you know, walk out the studio. I wanted to make it interesting. I wanted to make it the way I wanted to make it. And the guys that play on it are great, and we're amazing in the studio. John Sharkey and Billy and Joe and all those guys are great in the studio. Made my job easier, you know. So yeah,
I like bands that put out diverse albums. I mean, I love my favorite bands. Don't get me wrong, but when you hear the same album over and over, going 1,000 miles an hour,
right?
It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's cool to put other stuff in your music from song to song. I, you know, like I've said before a million times on this show, some bands are scared to go outside that box, Al, and you know that just as well as I do.
Yeah, I hate the box, dude. The box to me is bullshit. You know, it's like going into Baskin Robbins and getting vanilla every time.
Yeah,
you know, it's a big wild world. Open up. I mean, I don't even see how anybody could be just a hip hop fan or just a metal fan or just a hard. I don't even get that. I don't even know what that is. I listen to everything from Janis Joplin to John Coltrane to James Brown to Black Flag. It's all good, man. When, you know, music is good, it's good.
Put some damn sprinkles on that Sunday.
Yeah.
Are there any songs out off the new album that stand out more to you than any other as of right now? If possible, I know it's like picking your favorite collectible or child, but is there any that stick out more?
I love Fast and Easy. That's my favorite Circus of Power song ever. It's just, and I've heard this record over 100 times, not including the times in the studio. So I probably heard, 150 times. I like all the songs, man. I love See the Sun. I love Half a Dozen Roses, which I wrote with Gary used to be in Circus of Power on guitar. Yeah, I love Sin City Boogie. I love Princess of Mars, which I wrote with a kid that I met on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's interesting because he wrote 3 songs on a record with me. He wrote See the Sun, Princess of Mars, and Blood of Standing Rock. And I never listen to anybody's songs or anything that I see on Facebook. I just don't, And but he had this song posted, and I think it was called Rise of the Witches. And he had like a funny hat on and stuff, and it just looked kind of left of center, and cool. So I listened to it. It was this great riff. And I got in touch with the guy, and he was a big fan of the band. And I said, "Listen, man, this is, do you have any more songs?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got a bunch," And he started sending me songs, and they're just very simple, kind of Beatlesy, some of them, like sludgy Beatles, if you can imagine that. Well, that's what See the Sun is, really. He's one of the 4 or 5 guys now that I write with.
That's pretty awesome. That is actually incredible.
And I found out that he lived in his mother's basement and was on Social Security and was interested in Charles Manson and things like, and the Beatles. And then I said, okay, I'm in. I'm with you.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is. It is crazy. He's a good guy, and for him, it's way cool. He gets to have his music out there and collaborate. I have to collaborate because I don't, I play a little guitar and this and that, but I don't. I write some songs just vocally and put them down on my phone and then send them to the guys. But usually I'm collaborating with a guitar player. That's the tradition of being in a rock band, And so to have 4 or 5 of those guys, for me, is a good thing. It brings like different kinds of music to the table.
There was a guy that I actually went to high school with who said he wrote like 1 or 2 songs for George Jones, and I was like, no, whatever,
wow.
Dude, whatever.
I'm a fan of George Jones, man.
Well, I thought he was lying to me, I was like,
yeah,
well, whatever. Sure enough, man, he brought the paperwork in and everything.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the window up above.
He said, I love you till I die.
Yeah. I love George Jones, man.
Jones
I love
is
old
the
school
man.
country.
Who produced this album, or did you guys just do it yourself? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Me and Sharky, we're called the Bruce Brothers. He's really good at arranging and suggesting what people play, whether it's on the drums or the organ or anything. And he sings great. He's the guy that does all the backup vocals, whether it's the pretty stuff on Princess of Mars or screaming stuff on Hard Driving Sister. And Sharky is one of the best bass players in rock and roll, without a doubt. He's unknown, but people will know about him because he's just a monster. So me and him produced it. Production, unless you got a guy like Phil Spector or, someone that just brings all this innovative ideas or, really gets your band and helps arranging. And Phil Spector's an example from 50 years ago, but it's an example of what he brought to the Ronettes and those other bands, all the instrumentation. Everyone ripped him off after that because he was so good, Mm. But for me, you got to give me a great engineer, and then we'll take it from there. I'd like to produce other people's records too. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and not by myself, but with Sharky, because we're both kind of partners at it.
So do you guys, especially you, do you like the producer side of this and don't have to have somebody else, telling you guys what to do or what?
Well, like I said, I'm not against it if someone comes in and brings something to the table.
Right.
You go through periods where somebody gets really famous as a producer. For a while, it was the guy that's in Garbage. Didn't he do Smashing Pumpkins also, and a bunch of those bands in the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about. I forget his name, but he did a bunch of those things. Somebody will come along. I can't tell you about any producers right now that I would like to work with. I really don't know. First of all, there's not many great rock records happening anymore, so that kind of limits it. Because no matter what, man, we're going to come out heavy and bring a bunch of heaviness to the table. So it's got to be a guy that digs dirty rock and roll.
Since this is the release of your guys' first album in a very long time, 26 years now, do you think that people are going to grasp on more to Circus of Power's music and give you guys a big push, hopefully?
Well, for me, like everyone, when a record comes out, a band has a record come out, they always say, this is our best album. And same actor comes out, this is my best movie, and that's all. But I really believe that this is the best record that out of the 4 Circus of Power records. I think there's 5 or 6 great songs from the first one. Production's not good. A couple of good ones from the second one, a couple of good ones from the third one. But all in all, this is my favorite one, and the one I enjoy listening to the most. It's also got a couple of, the people are reviewing it saying it's giving it like 9 out of 10 stars and stuff like that. So it's got something going on, and hopefully that transfers to lots of fans. We need to get a good tour or two, and you need to get lucky too in the business. It's not like it used to be.
That's very true. Yeah, things have changed so much in the last 5 to 10 years.
I still believe, man, like if you in this world, like if you make a good product, and we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're making a good original, fresh sounding product, new sounding thing. record to me doesn't sound like a 70s record or 60s or 80s or anything. It's just, it's just a record. And if you make a widget of some sort that's just really good and effective, people are still going to buy it, and it'll get out there. People will find out about it. Everyone will go, hey, you gotta have this, So I'm hoping that happens with the record.
Do you guys
work in construction?
Do you guys do anything differently during your writing and recording process to help keep your minds open and fresh, to not let it all get stale?
No, we're hungry, man. In the last, I didn't stop writing after we finished the record, and I don't think I ever will, writing songs. I've been more creative in the last 2 years than I have in my whole life. We would squeeze out 11 or 12 songs for a record back in the day. We just didn't have a lot of songs. Now I have probably 15 or 16 ideas for the next record already.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Good ones, too. I have, 20 or 30, but, good ones that could be good songs. I have about 15 or 16. If we had to go in and make a record 3 months from now, we could do it easily.
What do you hope the fans take away from this album, Al, once they start to listen to it, or just, a Circus of Power's music in general?
Well, I can't really say that because, like I said, I listen to a ton of different kinds of music, and a good album's a good album,
Mm-hmm.
So, I can't. I'm not on the other side. I'm too close to the band to even think about stuff like that. Like, when someone gets on your Facebook page and tells you the record's the best thing they've heard in years, that's all I need to hear. I don't need to hear why.
True.
I just need to know that you love it, man, and then it's all good.
What can fans expect at a show from you guys once you guys take this out on tour and things like that? What can they get when they come to see Circus of Power?
Dirty, sweaty rock band. The shows that we've had have been really good. I'm older now, man, and all these guys are around my age or a little younger, but you're more comfortable on stage, and we just throw it down and have a lot of fun. Like if we're playing when we play Motor last, and I just tell everybody, whoever wants to come up on the stage, just come up and sing. So we've gotten like a bunch of people up on stage singing. It's pretty funny.
That's awesome. That is really cool.
Some of them singing it better than me.
That's crazy. We're living in the digital era of music,
mm-hmm.
and everything's changed in the last 15 years of music. Of course, we can get albums out quicker, and plus social media is out there now. Do you think this helps out bands to get music out quicker, and plus social media to allow them to know more about the band?
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about like the old days, like what would happen? How would I know when Thin Lizzy was coming to town when I was living in Florida? How would I know that? I was thinking, how the fuck did we even know back then?
Yeah.
There's always like a rock rag, magazine everywhere back then where you go, where they would list the bands, and do articles about local bands, and advertise local record stores and stuff like that. But generally, someone would tell you at school, a friend would call you up and they say, hey, Van Halen's playing the Sportatorium, on the first Van Halen record. And then you'd know because, if you're freaky music people like we were, you just knew about all that stuff. But now it's like you can listen to a band that's playing in Oslo or something like that and get a live feed tonight. And I think all that stuff is great. And it might help our band, too, along the way, just because it's another way of spreading the word. It's word of mouth. It's digitally.
Yeah, or if you had an actual radio station that would advertise the bands coming around. If not, you just have
yeah, you're right. Yeah, that too. And they would advertise the shows. I don't, they don't do that on rock stations anymore. Not the ones that are on commercial rock stations that are on TV. On the radio now.
Yeah, unless that radio station is promoting that show, which I think is
right. Yeah,
which I think
sucks. It's become a whole. It's always been a little bit of it about money, but now it just seems like everything is geared towards that.
Yeah. So true.
So I'm hoping we get a good tour.
So true. Support-wise, man, is there a country or a region that kind of shocks you or surprises you that you guys get support from that area? Well,
this band hasn't toured around the world or even around the country, yet. Just played in California and New York. But so far, the record is selling. A lot of people from Germany are amongst the people that are buying it. Thought that was interesting. But Germany has a fucking gigantic rock and metal scene. You can go over to Germany and play like 15 big shows. And, all those, not just Hamburg and Berlin. It's like all these towns over there all these cities have a really huge scene.
Yeah, and when they have a festival over there, the whole town shuts down.
Yeah.
So it's like a big holiday for them. So
Yeah.
in your own opinion, man, what does Circus of Power bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, possibly, Al, if anything?
Oh man, I mean, I've never hustled my own stuff, man. You know, I never been a guy to push my own wares or my own band. I write self-published books. I'm not the guy that you send to the Tonight Show to push the product. I'm just not that guy. I'm humble and probably a little self-deprecating too, you know. But in this case, I think it's a great record. Even if I wasn't involved in it, I'd still love it, you know. So I mean, I don't know where else. If you can name me another rock band in the world that can do Fast and Easy, the Tea song. I don't know if you heard that one on the spoken word song on there. Half a Dozen Roses. Just those three styles of music on one record. Then tell me about them, because I don't know one. So I think that we're doing something the way records used to be, when they were just really bands play what they wanted to do and not cater to some sort of a scene.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you?
Musical family. Mom played piano. Dad sang like Tom Jones, you know, big powerful voice, crazy Scotsman. My uncle played pedal steel. Another one played the bagpipes. All Scottish family. So that, and you know, music was on the stereo around the house. It was stuff like Tom Jones and Sinatra and crazy like Scottish bands and singers and stuff like that, but also the Beatles and some of the pop groups that were around at the time too. But really what got me, so I always loved it. When I was 4 years old, man, and I heard Beatles, I was like, this is it. And I saw some girls walking down the street singing a Beatles song, and I was like, okay, well, I get it. I get it now. But I had an uncle who's now a conservative Republican, but at the time was 18 years old and just came over from Scotland and was really he stayed in our basement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you did it back then. If you were an immigrant, probably, I guess, the same way you do it now. But we had, you know, all of a sudden there'd be a whole family living in our basement. Then they'd get their own house, and, you know, somebody would go over and stay at their house if they have to. But my uncle, who stayed in the basement, he rode a Triumph motorcycle. It was the first thing I liked. He had long hair and a beard. You know, he snuck girls in through the basement door all the time. And he listened to Creedence Clearwater and Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and like this kind of more acid kind of rock than they were, you know, playing upstairs in my parents' living room. And then I got turned on in Jefferson Airplane. I was in all that stuff as a really young kid, man. And then later on, it was Iggy Pop and T-Rex and Alice Cooper and the New York Dolls and all that kind of stuff, Bowie and I liked it all, man. I liked the Southern rock stuff, like Lynyrd Skynyrd and everything like that. But yeah, I love music, man. I'm hours of it every day, for sure, every day.
Yeah, I'm a big CCR fan myself.
Yeah,
Hendrix and love stuff like that, and sludge metal. I absolutely love sludge metal.
Yeah.
Folks, this album is out today by Circus of Power called 4. Get out and check this out. Support this band. They have some great music that's out right now. Al, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this CD, buy some merchandise from you all, tour dates when it goes on tour? How can they do that, my friend?
Circus of Power Facebook page that tells you all that stuff, and it gives you the link to buy the the CD. We have some vinyl coming out, I think, after the new year. We're going to get some vinyl out, too. And, that'll tell you where to get the CD and go out and buy it. You'll love it.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
No, absolutely, man. This is Alex Mitchell from Circus of Power. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Al.
Thanks, brother.